What's up, you freaking geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to use the quadratic formula to write a quadratic equation that has the given solutions. All right, so we're basically starting with the solutions, and then we're going to try and work our way back to the original quadratic equation. Okay, so this is the first solution we're given. So x is equal to -8 plus or minus the square root of -176 all over -10. Okay, so in order to solve this, you need to set it equal to the quadratic formula. So this, let's use just using the variables. So the quadratic formula, if you don't remember, is -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so in order to write the original quadratic equation, we need to first figure out what a, b, and c are equal to. Okay, so let's start with a. So as you can see here, the bottom is equal to 2a, and over here, the bottom is equal to -10. So we could just set 2a equal to -10 since we know they're equal to each other, right? So we can say 2a is equal to -10. So to solve for a, we'll divide both sides by 2. So then we get that a is equal to -5, right? So we figured out what one of our variables are equal to. What else can we figure out? Well, here we know that -b is equal to -8. Okay, so we can just set -b equal to -8. So we can see that b is simply equal to 8, right? So we could say that b is equal to 8. Okay, now we just need to figure out what c is equal to, and c is inside of the square root, right? So what we can do is take whatever is inside of this square root, so -176, and set it equal to what's inside of this square root right here. Okay, so that's the discriminant, right? That's what this part on the inside of the square root is called. So the b squared minus 4ac. So we're going to say, to solve for c, we're going to set that one, -176 equal to the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. But we know what a couple of these variables are now, right? We know that a is equal to -5 and b is equal to +8. So we're going to say that -176 is equal to -8, or sorry, b is equal to just 8, right? So just 8 squared minus 4 times a, which is -5 times c. Okay, so then -176 is equal to 64, and then this is -4 times -5 is +20, right? So plus 20c, all right? So then here we can subtract 64 from both sides. So then -176 minus 64, that's equal to -240. Yeah, that looks right, -240. Those cancel out, is equal to 20c, and to solve for c, we'll divide both sides by 20, right? So those cancel out, and here, since they both have trailing zeros, we could just cross those out, right? So -24 divided by 2 is equal to -12, right? So we get -12 is equal to c, right? Let's write it over here, -12 is equal to c. Okay, so now that we know what a, b, and c are equal to, now we can plug those back into the quadratic equation. So we're going to write that in the standard form. So standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay, but now we know what a, b, and c are equal to, right? So a is equal to -5, so -5x squared. B is equal to 8, so plus 8x, and c is -12, right? So minus 12 is equal to 0. Okay, so there's A, this is B, should have done it in orange, and C. All right, so there's your final equation. All right, let's try one more. So here we have x is equal to 2 plus or minus 4 all over -2. All right, so again, we can just set this equal to the quadratic formula. So -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so let's solve for a first. So we can set the denominators equal to each other again, right? We can say 2a is equal to -2, right? So we'll say 2a is equal to -2. Divide both sides by 2, so we get that a is equal to -1. All right, there's one solution. What else do we know? Let's look for b. So here we have negative b. So we can set that to positive 2, right? So we're going to say that negative b is equal to positive 2. We'll divide both sides by negative 1. Those cancel out, so we get that b is equal to negative 2, right? There's a and there's b. Okay, and then lastly, let's solve for c over here. So on this side, we don't have a square root, but on this side we do. So we're actually going to have to set 4 equal to this entire thing, right? The reason we didn't have to worry about the square root last time is because we had a square root in the problem last time. So we could just take whatever's inside the square root and set it equal to what's inside of the square root. But this time, since we don't have a square root, we just have just a regular number, we have to set it equal to the entire thing. Okay, so we're going to have to say that 4 is equal to the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So then we get that 4 is equal to, let's see, b is negative 2. So it's equal to the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times a, which is negative 1. And c, we don't know what c is yet. Okay, now on this side, to get rid of this square root, or the radical, we need to square it. And what we do to one side, we do to the other, right? So then on this side, the square root and the squared exponent cancel out. So we're just going to be left with what's inside of the square root. And then on this side, 4 squared is equal to 16. So we get 16 is equal to, and we're just left with what's inside of the square root. So negative 2 squared is equal to positive 4. And then here, negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. So plus 4 times c, right? So then here, we'll subtract both sides by 4. 16 minus 4 is 12. So we get 12 is equal to 4c. So then here we can see that c is equal to 3, right? C is equal to 3. Okay, cool. So we know what a, b, and c are equal to, so we'll plug it into our quadratic equation, right? Ax squared plus bx is equal, or plus ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And we'll plug in a, b, and c. So a is negative 1, so here we'll have negative x squared, and b is negative 2, so we'll have minus 2x, and c is 3. So plus 3 is equal to 0. So there's your final equation right there. So if you found the video helpful, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any other questions or want to see any other examples, just let me know in the comment section below.